This week on True Bloods, Deebs and I are absolutely cooked and we go off track a great deal, but we do get into the preview of the Port Adelaide game.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. It's get down to the rising sun. If you're in Melbourne this week, let's get together, faithful. Let's get this W. Errol's back. Let's go.
Jeez, this is the most one-eyed podcast.
It's what we're here to do. There is only one side in this competition. It's game-changing.
It's absolutely game-changing, Deeble.
Riddle me that, Mads.
Yeah, riddle me that, Deeble.
Do you remember? It's what we're here to do. This is True Bloods, the number one independent Sydney Swans fan podcast, and we are back in the AFL Today Studio to talk all things Swannies. The great Errol Gulden's back and previewing the game against Port Adelaide on Saturday afternoon. Joined as always to my left, Big Clarko. How are you, buddy?
Yes, it's good to be back.
Yes. Well, it's good news day, isn't it?
It's a good news day.
We've got the great Errol Gulden's back. Yes, Mads. Yes. Come on. The Papa's back. Yes, Mads. Come on. Is there anyone else back?
It's a rogue stud. He's Marty.
Marty. Yes. All the boys are back. Little bit of cattle back, Mads. It's the morale booster that we need.
And we're a big morale pod, Deebs. I think this is something that we've been talking about for probably far too long.
Yeah.
I would say. We've been plugging holes like they would plug holes on a pirate ship. Marty. I don't know. Is he coming? Is he back now? Is he test?
No, he was a suspension. So he has served the 3-week suspension.
You'd think as a host of the number one Sydney Swans fan podcast that I would know that. It just goes to show how many bloody injuries there have been, Deeble.
Yeah, you just assume.
You just assume that he's injured.
That's right.
He's tall. He's a game winner, a match winner. He's good for structure. He must be out due to injury.
That's right.
But he's coming back, and that's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. It's going to be really interesting to see how the Pirate does go, because he's had his 3-week suspension, he's had the bye week, and he's also had this week leading into it. So it's the best part of 5 weeks, sort of, since he's played that when he got rubbed out against Carlton, I reckon it was.
Yep.
So that's a long time ago when you go back to that time, Clarko.
Yeah, that is ages ago. And do you know what? If I look at how I feel about us as a team at the halfway point of the season, I think we're feeling probably better than Carlton supporters are feeling. I think we're probably feeling better than Melbourne supporters are feeling. Even though we're roughly around the same sort of area. And by and large, I think, Carlton have probably had better wins since then. But I still think we're in a much better position than both those teams.
Well, we're just in a position to attack the back end of the year.
Yep.
I think we've got to get a bit of a graphic up. I think with 10 games remain for us to play. We lose more than 2, and that's all she wrote. Yeah. That's all she wrote. So
the equation once again is simple.
Yeah.
And once again, we will probably spend our petrol tickets too early.
Try and get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to sort of see, all these guys back together, and whether it gels straight away, and that continuity and the fluidity. Is that a word?
Fluidity. Yeah, it absolutely is, Deebles.
That one.
Well done.
See, I've been back in the office this week, Mads, at the lock shop, and I've had time to get the thesaurus out.
Deebles has he's got the laptop. He's got the sort of in and out tray that I imagine would be in any locksmith office with invoices coming in and being sent out and things like that. And then he's got his thesaurus / dictionary next to him, and you're just sort of making your way through that, are you,
I
Deebles?
don't even know if you can picture this as like a locksmith shop, but we've got the double screen
in
front
have
of
to.
us. So you got, the old Navman above, and then the old job management system underneath.
Deebs, I've always said, if you're not operating off at least 2 or more screens, you're not being as productive as you should be. You're not enhancing the shareholder value that you should be.
That's right. Absolutely.
Now, what the GPS? Do you track the drivers?
Yeah, it's so we can communicate with the boys out on the road too.
Sure.
So not so much Big Brother setup.
Have you incorporated AI into your workplaces
no, we're not
yet?
quite up to the AI standards.
Sure.
Oakley Locksmith doesn't quite need the Chat GPT subscription, the yearly sign up. But, we are starting to head down that way. I'm sure there's some Chat GPT out there for us, Mads. I'm sure there is. Has to be. But I'll tell you what, Clarko, I am excited to get down to the Rising Sun this week.
We haven't been down just circumstantially.
Yeah.
But it really makes you miss the place. Is there a friendlier place for a guy, a duo like you and I, Deebles? Is there a friendlier place in Melbourne than the Rising Sun?
Name a more friendly place in Melbourne for Swanee supporters.
You can't.
That's right. You get down to the Rising Sun, 2 Raglan Street, South Melbourne. This is a call to arms. This is get all the faithful, all the Swannies faithful down in Melbourne. You got to get to the Rising Sun. There's a steak out there for you. There's a few beers with the boys out there for you. And if you inbox the page, we've probably got about, I would say, 7 to 8 seats on our table. So first in, best dressed, and then, book yourself a table if you're outside those numbers. And there's a good afternoon out there for you.
You really don't even need a table. You can just come up and you'll be able to find somewhere to sit.
It out.
Yeah, we'll work it out. But we want numbers there.
We want numbers.
Because, the word on the street is there's been a bit of a drop-off.
Yeah.
Bit of a drop-off. Now, we've had a couple of good seasons, but we need numbers there. This is not the time to get off. Not with Errol Gulden, Tom Papley, and Moti coming back. This is not the time to drop off.
It's been bloody tough, Mads. We're 5-8, right? It's time to get excited and enjoy your Bloods footy. It's like if you're sitting there like some of the guys who interact with us on the page and you're like, throw the towel in, play the kids.
But that's like, it's a reasonable school of thought, right? It's just not a very fun school of thought.
It's not enjoyable school of thought. I can understand it. I'm not saying it's null and void the opinion, right? But
no, but I mean, look, the probably most accurate way to look at the rest of our year would be to tank and play the kids and not finish 8th or 9th or 10th and actually get a draft pick that's valuable before the draft potentially becomes, null and void because of the introduction of a 19th team. Whether that happens or not remains to be seen. But the if you're looking from an analytical perspective, that's probably the right move.
Yeah.
But it's just not the fun move. Why would you bother watching any other game if that's your mindset?
Yeah.
Like you got to eke some sort of enjoyment out of this goddamn sport somehow.
The thing that annoys me though, these guys who say play the kids, right? They'll be expecting results too. And they'll be saying, oh, these guys are going no good out there. They're getting smashed every week, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, still, I think.
It's too hot.
It's
too hot.
Yeah, it's coming off. It's
silly.
Good gag.
It was silly.
Silly?
It was silly and it's too hot. You beauty.
You beauty. But yeah, I think those guys would still be complaining about the results.
Oh, you can't please everyone, right? At the end of the day, and it's a double-edged sword. If you're after tanking, if you're after playing the kids, then you can't get upset when we're getting belted.
Yeah, exactly right.
But the fact of the matter is, we're never going to do that. We're just not the sort of team that is going to just go, oh well, we're at the halfway stage. Mathematically, we're a chance, but we're probably not going to do anything but make up numbers. Let's just kill this season and we'll work on 2026. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. It never has.
Never will.
Never will.
But I just think it's such an important month for the footy club. I think we've got the doggies after this. They work their way in there. I can't ever remember who we play in the next month of footy. But I think if we can steal one against Port and then we knock off the Dogs, not expected to win, obviously, with how they're going with their, they've got Sam Darcy back, all these guys. 1 week at a time, I know, faithful. But then there's some really winnable games after that. I think the St Kilda game works its way in there.
It goes Port, Footscray, Freo, St Kilda. North, GWS.
So there's your month of footy, right?
Yeah.
And if we can just bank 4 wins in a row, like that gets us back to 9 and 8.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's round 18, you're 9-8. So it's definitely that's got to be the target. We got to go on a tear. We got to hope that we go on a tear, but then you never know what can happen.
The difference here, Deebs, is we've done it before. We've done it so many times before.
Yeah, it reeks of 2023, doesn't it? It does. It's got that feel about it.
And we were a straight kick away from it being into a semi-final.
That's right. That's right. It's going to be really interesting. Like, we know how much on-field, leadership that Errol brings, and then, the ability of the left foot, the structure, the gut running, Mads, that Errol Gulden brings, how much that is going to change, what we've been doing this year. The link-up play has been something that hasn't quite been there at stages this year for majority of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. On transition, it's just looked clunky.
Yeah,
we haven't been clean, and the cleanliness and the elite skills by foot is our strength, right? That's our one wood.
Yeah.
So we've been without the tools needed to be able to manage that effectively. What I think, Errol's a given, right? He's the banker. He's the no-brainer, right?
Sorry, go on. You got to do it with the accent. You can't. You can't just say it normally on here, buddy.
Every time I ask him to do it, I piss myself like it's the Gary Neville. The Gary Neville. This is the banker. I can't do it. Now you put me on the spot. Got a camera there. Got a microphone there. It's hard. I'll work up to it. This was the banker.
He's got the stage fright. Oh, Clark. That's all right, buddy.
Now, what was I saying? That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Right, that's a no-brainer. It's going to be a funny one, this one. But Papley, that is something that is so dynamic of a move into our forward line, which has been an absolute shit show for months now.
Yeah.
It's been a genuine shit show with a revolving door of players getting injured or suspended. You got Joel Hamling leaping out of the porridge and into the forward line. And you got Aaron Francis coming on as sub, kicking 3, and then absolutely stinking up the forward 50.
Yeah.
It's been an outright shambles. And this is the first bit of sort of the mix of tenure and skill that we need to really be dangerous going forward.
Yeah, well, the excuse goes out the window of injuries now, doesn't it?
Correct.
It says, the core personnel is there, and it's time to put every excuse in the bin and time to get to work and get it done. That's what it comes down to, I think.
Taylor Adams has done a hamstring.
Not ideal for the great Taylor Adams. You were nearly walking him out the door this afternoon when you heard the news.
Well, it's just how are you going to come back? Not walking out the door, but for the season.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to come back?
It's very hard to. Yeah, I'll put it this way. He's very lucky that he's got another year to run on his contract. Signed the 3-year deal, or else, the serious questions would be asked. But it's not a good idea. It was always the risk with Taylor Adams, wasn't it? These the soft tissue injuries that cost him the premiership at Collingwood, and you hate to see it. You hate to hear it.
It's horrible because we're big Taylor Adams guys.
Yeah, and I think you see it in Taylor's body, right? He's a professional. He is someone who wouldn't be left in no stone unturned, Clarko, to get himself right, and he hasn't been able to get the body right. It's let him down, and it's just no good for anyone involved, is it?
No, it's not good. Every single Collingwood mate of mine said exactly this would happen.
Told you so. Yeah.
I'm going to get a few of them. Yeah. That's okay.
Here's what it is.
Fuck 'em.
Here's what it is. Taylor Adams could never make the side when we made a grand final. So
correct.
It is what it is. But
injuries are not an excuse. They're just it's done now. We've had our bye. We always use the bye as the benchmark.
Yeah.
Right? We've had Millsy back. Millsy played extremely well against Richmond.
The Tigers.
Now that's against Richmond. He's got to keep doing that for mine, Deebs.
For yours. No.
Now, I've been busy at the undisclosed Big Four Bank today.
Sure.
I haven't had a chance to listen to the great man's press conference.
Yes.
Have you had a listen to that? You haven't
I
listened to
haven't.
that? Beautiful. We are well researched and well read here at True Bloods. But my understanding was he fielded some questions on leadership and captaincy, and we can probably have some more information about that in the second seg, I would imagine.
That's right. Big research.
Big research pod. Big doing things at the last minute pod. But that, he's got to string a few great performances together, right? He owes us at least that much. Get Papley back, get Errol back. You got Juzzy back. You want him back in form. You want Amadi presenting and being a really strong target and getting at least shots on goals. You know, he takes a little bit longer to work into form, right? That's always been the case.
Yeah.
But everyone's there now. And it's big. You know who it's big for, Deebs?
Who's a big for?
Dean Cox.
Yeah.
Because you've got everyone at your disposal now. Everyone's there. Everyone we've been talking about, they're all there.
Yeah, it's huge for these guys who have maybe, put a foot wrong or two. Joel getting rubbed out twice.
Juzzy.
Juzzy, I think he's been pretty consistent this year, Juzzy. He had that bad patch of bag kicking, but I think his last
It's more just getting
games,
suspended.
Yeah, the suspensions, the big suspensions. Yep. And, it's Millsy, skipper of the club, hardly been out there the last 2 years. Like, let's have a ripping back end of the season, skipper. Let's go. We're here with you. We're backing you in. The faithful's with you. I'll back you in, Millsy.
Because I got you here.
Because I got you. But do you love playing footy? Do ya? We bloody hope so, because he's a skipper of the club.
You'd really hope so.
And then, guys who have been unlucky. Papley, I'm sure he didn't have, missing 8 weeks of footy on his bingo card at the start of the season, did he?
No. Or as Jared Healy would say, on his dance card.
On his dance card, absolutely. The paps.
The papa.
And, the papa is a bit of a Mr. Fix-It too. It's like, when we need a clearance and we need to get going and we need some energy, it's the leadership of Tommy Papley, isn't it? He normally commands, the respect of the side, and he's like, I'm going to chuck us on the shoulders here.
Yep.
He's got a bit of that about him, and and like, is it the likes of, that forward structure is going to be so interesting. It's like, does Francis hold? Does McLean hold? It's going to be really interesting to see how they do structure up in this next month.
I reckon, how McLean has played football has been overlooked by the sheer weight of injuries that we've had. He's not been productive at all. And there's reasons for that. But, I mean, he's out of form. He's horribly out of form.
Yeah, concur with that for sure, but I think anyone in this forward line is a product of what's going on forward of the ball.
Correct.
It's like McLean's form could switch around like this with some decent delivery going inside 50. He could look like a superstar leading out of the square.
But are we saying that delivery is just going to change because of Errol?
No, I'm saying it's because of Millsy. It's Errol. It's Papley. It's
It's got to be everyone going together. It's
not the Errol's back and he turns everything around. It's the culmination of all these players back in the side, Mads.
I wholeheartedly agree. And I think that is why it's so important for the club, because now you can actually be judged. Now you can be judged. Now Coxie can be judged. Us as a group, the pressure rating, everything like that, there's no more safety net.
For sure.
And guys like Cameron Noakes writing those articles, will that be proven true? Well, now's the time that we can either say, no, get stuffed. We're far better, where there isn't this historical drop-off that's occurred. It was simply just a matter of circumstance.
Yeah.
It's so important. Next couple of weeks.
But there's only so much you can harp on last year, right? And how good we were and the footy we played. But you have to channel a bit of that and how successful we were in terms of the players out at the start of this season for the first 12 games to this side that's going to rock up, against Port over in Adelaide. Good win against the Tigers, but that's the Tigers on the MCG, right? That's a completely different ball game to
Adelaide in Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide in Adelaide.
And also the better sides, right?
Yeah.
If we're up and going and we're a slice of what we were last year. We should go over there and get the result. I'm not saying we drub them, but we've got to go over there and get the result.
You have to assume that you can replicate the type of football we played last year and in parts of 2023 and in most of 2022. You have to assume that everybody can play to the back of their football card.
That's right.
Now that every single position is filled with an AFL grade player.
Yeah, and look, you can't expect fireworks straight away.
No.
But they've got to find a way to put it all together to at least get results.
Just have to win. Win ugly. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Find a way.
Yep.
Have to.
That has to be the mantra.
Yeah. Yeah. Who are you looking forward to in the back end of this year? Sort of try and give you some thinking time. Sort of one player to lift in this back end and then one player to keep it going. That, you got to think about, your Matty Roberts coming back into the side.
Well,
your Biceys, all these type of guys.
I can see them lifting. I'm on Mills' watch.
Yeah.
He's
the guy.
He's the guy for mine, Deebs.
For yours.
That not that I am doubting him. I just haven't seen enough. I want to know if my memory deceives me or if it's true. He's captain for a reason. I know he's captain for a reason, right?
We don't get those decisions wrong.
No, we know.
As a footy
name
club.
one time we've gotten that wrong.
You can't.
Except maybe giving Goodsy's number to Elijah Taylor. Perhaps. But neither here nor there. I'm fascinated to see him. What are we a big pod of? Incremental uplift, Deebs.
Absolutely.
Like you on the YouTube live stream last night, which was very humorous viewing. Shout him out, Deebs.
Pommy and Oz.
Yep. Very funny. It was one of the most bizarre things I've ever watched, Deebs. So we're sitting there on an idle Monday night watching Deebs bloody shift logos of teams around in a power ranking system that closely resembled the AFL ladder.
Yes. I can just imagine. You'd have been sitting there like,
baffling.
This is berserk.
It was. I said in the comments, this is berserk.
The live interaction chat, it took me 25 minutes to work out how to get the cursor over to the old comment section, and it was W's in the chat from there. It was, I had a few wins. I'm top of the leaderboard in the Guess the Player segment. Equal top.
Guess the Player segment. I tuned out.
Yeah. It's we know your attention span isn't your strong suit, Clarko, so I wouldn't expect you to sit there for an hour.
I watched more than I'd care to admit to. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, shout out to Pommy and Oz, good fella. So.
Oh God, that's funny. But so I want to see Millsy just keep going. But as we said, a real hallmark of our win against the Tigers was Harry Cunningham coming back.
Harry Cunningham.
That is going to allow Lizard to just, for mine,
for yours,
just slither, if you will, into all Australian form again.
Mate, this is what I've been waiting for, Clarko. See, it's what are they? It's like a domino effect.
Yes, correct.
You talk about the Harry Cunninghams releasing the Lizards, and it just flows on from there. And I think there's a bit more of that to come as well.
But Malikan being back, that makes Tom McCartney.
Malikan,
it's going to be good at the riser.
I'm going to carry on.
Do yourself a favour.
Do yourselves a favour. Get down to the riser. But
we are going to carry on, aren't we?
Yeah. In a similar vein, I think that Isaac Heaney can lift his back end. And Haynes has been a top 3 player in our side. I've got no two ways about that. But we know the level that he can go to.
But he's had to be the jack of all trades.
That's right.
Master of none, Deebs.
Millsy can go in the guts now. You've got Papley who can inject himself. And this sort of just gives the more flexibility for Haynes to play those midfield minutes when we need him and go forward and take the marks and hit the scoreboard. A little bit of scoreboard impact.
But I honestly see Papley's inclusion more pertinent to how Heaney will play the rest of his year than Millsy's inclusion. Because I think if I'm looking at my midfield at the moment and I have a choice between Callum Mills and Isaac Heaney, I think I'm still picking Heaney at the moment.
Oh, definitely.
I think I'm really enjoying Millsy working off halfback. I'm not saying he doesn't go in there.
Yeah, no.
But I'm saying
Definitely.
having Papley back affords Heaney the time to have bulk midfield minutes and float down there by all means.
Yeah.
But I'm expecting big things out of Papley pretty quick.
Yeah, it's just like that. You talk the footy player card. It's just like you've got a higher footy card in multiple positions around the ground, right? That's you just got more options and better players taking the field.
And then if you want to sort of go further down the line of dominoes that are falling, even the role of James Jordan, right? This guy now can be a specialised role player. He's not having a pinch hit forward. He's not having a pinch hit as a winger, as a midfielder. He can be given missions, not just a role, Deebs, a mission, because everything else is covered now.
Mission like rap, mission rap,
no
butter roll. I didn't know if you were going to get that straight.
That is called a double entendre, Deebs.
That's right.
Very good. Hey, they're gluten-free too.
Yeah, mate, big GF pod here. Celiac-friendly pod. There's some celiac food out there for you. I don't know if you would be a frequent viewer of the Melbourne Celiac, Mads, but, geez, you guys should link up. I think you'd be good for content.
I'll tell you what, we've been slack on the old peddling of sponsors this year. But if we get on a run, I think I need to contact the good people at O'Brien's.
Sure.
Red and white.
Red and white.
It just makes sense, Deebs.
100%.
I just think that's a call that needs to be made, and that needs to go on my list. That needs to go on my to-do list.
That's right. That's right.
Who are you? So you're looking at Haynes.
Looking at Haynes.
Who do you want to see? Sort of, are you wanting to see him go to another level, or are you wanting to see him sort of continue what he's doing? What do you want out of Isaac?
I just think the role's slightly going to change, and he's just going to be able to be a bit more effective in however we
choose to play him.
Yeah.
What do you make of an Ollie Florent?
Ollie needs to just keep banging the door down. I think he's had 25 in his first game and 28 in the second game against Richmond out at Beaconsfield. Now, that would have been an eye-opening event. It's very similar to the Luke Parker last year. Luke Parker was on a Friday night down in Frankston, 4 degrees down there, while the Swannies were playing Carlton Friday night, Marngrook at the G. And it's pretty similar setup for Ollie last week, out in Beaconsfield against the Tigers, while the AFL team is playing at the MCG. We're going to see what Ollie's made of. I think he's going to be going about it in the right way, and we sort of gained a lot of respect for him, having a good chat with him a couple of weeks ago.
No doubt.
What can Ollie do? Keep banging the door down in the VFL, and I think it'll flow through that, having these players back in the AFL team. There's going to be some guys not getting selected who have been playing AFL, and, hopefully we can start to get some better results in the VFL to help these guys, to just play some better footy.
Do you think, now go with me on this, do you think we've inadvertently started building some nice depth to our team through, again, circumstantially, of these guys who otherwise probably wouldn't have been getting a go at AFL level? Now you've got, sort of 10 games into, who would I say? Not 10, but you've got Hanley playing a few games. You've got Corey Warner playing a few games. You've got Riley Bice playing a few games. Caden Cleary playing a few games.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt.
So that's how you start to build depth, right? Because everybody's got VFL players. It's just whether they can perform at the level. And the only way you start performing at the level is you get experience doing it. It's the only way. It's the only way.
Right. We're a big adage pod.
Correct.
Mads, and one of our favourite here that comes from the great CEO Tom Harley is you simply cannot beat time at the block.
You can't beat time at the block, and you can just keep putting things in your kit bag.
That's right. That's right. And, the experience that these guys have been able to gather in the first half of this year,
massive.
Invaluable,
Deebs.
You simply can't put a dollar value on it. It's invaluable, Mads. So I'm just looking forward just trying to build the hype into this back end of the year. There's so many.
No, but it's the hype's there. I mean, we've got nothing to lose now.
Yeah, the pessimists kill me, man. It's like I'm not sitting here happy clapping, oh, it's all going to be okay and rosy and it's all good in the first half. Forget about the first half. Yeah, it's been an average start to this year, right? And it's not what we wanted. It's not what we expected coming into this year where we came in full of optimism, right? But there's reasons for it happening, and that's what we've always sort of said.
If you're looking at it and you can't pinpoint a reason why something's happening, then you're fucked.
That's right. That's when you've got the issue. But I just feel like we're so capable of turning this around. And does that mean we win 8 of the next 10? I'm not too sure.
We'll see, though.
The ability is there, and I think we're good enough to do it if we are.
I think so too, Deebs.
Does that wrap us up, Clarko?
I think it does.
Very good. We'll be back.
Do you know what I miss, Deebs?
What's that, Mads?
I miss those authentic American-style pickles from my times in the States.
Well, Mads, don't get yourself in a pickle. Delicious are sponsoring the pod this month. They are a proudly family-owned and run business committed to bringing you the best-tasting pickles for your picnic, platters and pantries. The owner, Jimmy, is a huge Bloods guy.
Yeah, but are they Australian-made ingredients, Deebs?
Yes, Mads.
Are they seriously crunchy?
Absolutely, Mads.
Are they sneakily healthy and simply delicious?
Yes, they are.
Well, Deebs, that sounds bloody sensational. Head on over to delicious.com.au and get yourself some pickles. Welcome back to True Bloods.
Yes.
It's good to be here.
It is.
It's very good to be here with you.
Bloody Clarko. What an entertaining cat he is. But I'll tell you what's going to be entertaining this week. He's the great man back. I'm sure you've seen the clip on the socials, Mads.
That's right, Deebs.
The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers.
The Two Towers.
At Helm's Deep, I understand that's where they are. It's the siege on Helm's Deep, Deebs.
Sure, that means absolutely nothing to me.
Gandalf sort of arrives as the cavalry.
Yes, and you've got an Errol Gulden on horseback.
Yes.
You've got an Errol Gulden. I think we had Robbie Fox in there thinking he was coming back.
Joel Armarty.
The pirate, Joel Armarty. It's everyone's back to take on Port this week, I'm jacked.
It's not quite the Crusades, but absolutely stellar effort. We cannot take credit for that.
No.
I did call Deebs this morning. I said, put a watermark on it. Deebs said, I don't feel overly comfortable putting a watermark on something that we didn't make. I said, that is a good point.
Yeah, so shout out to Dylan Wallace. Who is a Brisbane Swan on TikTok as well.
Get around him.
Give him a follow.
Give the big fella a follow. Hey, it's been the bye week.
Yeah.
We're coming into what I think will be a really fun time in our football club. And it starts this week, Deebs, right? It
does.
It starts this week. It starts at Port Adelaide, at the Adelaide Oval, where I believe the last time we were there, we got smoked by 112 points. Is that correct? Is that the last time we were there?
That seems pretty accurate for mine.
But for yours, it was Amadi's 9 before. It was before that, wasn't it?
Before that, it was.
So, that was the game when I was at Collingwood and Carlton with my phone in my pocket and murmurs around me. It was a horrible, horrible day, a night in our club's history.
Yeah.
And this goes a small way to resolving that.
Yeah, well, I think when you face a little bit of adversity, Mads, you got to front it. Front on.
You got to face it front on, Deebs.
Face it front on. I needed
close.
2 different
You're
words
always
there.
close. You're always close.
I always know when the mistake is. I knew it wasn't right, but look, we're all about incremental uplift
Incremental.
here.
It's like when you're in a maths exam and you guess the answer, but you have to show you're working. You're the other way around.
That's right.
You're almost there.
I just start to work myself out, and it's all about just getting to the correct destination of perfect grammar and punctuation. And guess what? It's never going to happen, Clarko, but we can keep trying.
Hey. The aspiration of perfection is enough. I think.
It's to be admired, isn't it?
It's to be admired. You are to be admired, my friend.
If I don't say so myself.
And I've written a bestseller.
It sold 250,000 copies. Again, bulk weeks, back-to-back weeks. And guess what, Clarko?
It's still bloody
still selling. But yeah, the point being is, we got flogged there the last time we were there, but an opportunity to, summons those demons.
Summons them. Silence them.
Summons.
No, you summon them when you're bringing the
Silence them.
demons. When you bring
Summons the demons and you silence them. Oh, shit. It's been a long week already.
It's been a very long week and a long episode
and
thus
see,
far.
like my role's sort of been changing in the last month, Mads, and I've been looking at a lot of computer screen, right? And I think it just starts to turn the wheels slightly different in your head.
Yeah, the cogs are turning in a different manner, are they?
Yeah, different. It's like a different lubrication on the
Right,
cogs.
you've changed up lubes, have you?
I think so.
Fantastic.
I think so.
Fantastic.
But look, hey, I'll keep rocking up and keep trying for the faithful.
Beautiful. And hey, that's all we ask.
That's all you can ask.
That's all we ask of the boys, and that's all we can do as idiot podcasters. You know what the good gag's been at work?
What's that?
Anything that happens, the immediate response is, how are those idiot podcasters going to put a spin on it this week?
So true. But you know what, Mads? 13 weeks in a row, 14 weeks in a row.
Getting good at it.
We've been able to spin it in some way, shape or form. So shout out to the guys from the undisclosed Big Four. Shout out. Thanks for listening in.
Go, boys.
Go, boys.
We asked a question to the faithful before this gets off track any further.
Oh, yeah, gee whiz. Gee whiz. Are we going with the hashtag Ask the Faithful?
Yeah, hashtag Ask the Faithful. I think that's the best way to get around this.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'll read it out, no problem. We're getting closer to horses coming over the hill. The cavalry is on the way, faithful. Assuming the Papa, the Pirate, and Errol are back, who are you taking out? Or are you doing something else? Best answers to be featured on the pod because Brendan Paul Weller, friend of the show.
Yeah, big friend.
Friend of the show. Mentioned that he would probably I'll actually bring up his comment. I'll read his comment. Where is it?
Yeah. Right in front of you. Right in front of you.
Where is it?
On your Instagrams or was it on your Facebooks?
I'm having a look on your Instagrams. I can't see it here. Oh, here it is. This is on a different post, actually. No need to rush the guy back half fit. We need to be realistic for a second. If we were coming top 6, maybe go for it, but we aren't. I don't think they'd be bringing him back underdone. I think this is now, I'm not a doctor. A doctor is sitting to my right. Dr. Deebs. Or Harry. He's Dr. Deebs. I just think of you as Harry's practice. You remember
Dr.
Harry?
Yeah, sure.
You're one of those dodgy doctors that is a vet but works on humans for a nominal fee. But I can't see him being underdone in any way, shape, or form.
Nah, well, I did look this up last night because I'm a big research guy, Clarko, and an average break of the leg. Right, and keep in mind, Errol's was a hairline fracture of the fibula, which is a bone in your leg. So when the impacts come from rolling in up through the fibula, nice
is the
crack
fibula
in there.
your shin?
Yeah, it's the one that runs up your shin.
Okay.
Yeah, you got two. What do you got? A tibia and a fibula in your leg. That would be.
Could have been a physio or a chiro or something,
just
mate.
Didn't have the book smarts. Could not do it.
Hey.
I'm sure there was a back door.
Deebs, whether you think
I could have unlocked it myself. Big locksmith
whether you
guy.
think you can or you think you can't, you're right, Deebs.
That's right. Oh, see, yeah, we're really off track. Where were we going?
I'm loving it. No, but is he underdone?
Yes, I looked it up on the old the Google Defines, because I'm a big Google Define guy.
That's his number one search URL.
Yeah, Google Define this. Some word Clarko's used during the week. Google Define. How do I use this? But I looked it up and looked at the average break of a leg to return to full activity is between 3 and 6 months, right? So Errol is in the 12 to 16 week period. So that's 3 to 4 months for those playing along at home. So I don't think he's been rushed back at all. And you just know that Errol Gulden is the ultimate professional and he would have done so much work, if not more than that was required. And I just don't think there's in any world are they bringing back Errol Gulden underdone. So I think you can walk Paul's comment. Brendan Paul's. I couldn't disagree more.
No, but and here's the other thing about Errol Gulden, and I think people need to be cognizant of this, and it's easy to forget. Errol Gulden is developing. He's still developing as a footballer and as a man, let's be honest, right? Putting him on ice actually stunts his development.
Yeah.
He needs to be playing footy. Simple as that.
It's a great aspect to bring up.
Simple as that. Like you're still developing. You're still in your early 20s. You're still getting your body in a position where you're gonna have to get back used to the rigors of AFL footy. It's as simple as that. So you getting game time and actual game simulation back into them is all part of the process.
100%. Well, we might hear from the great Saundo.
Sure.
With the hashtag #AskTheFaithful. Here we go. Big Saundo.
Deebs, Mads, Faithful, Saundo from Pennant Hills here. Hope you all enjoyed a stress-free weekend, but it's time to saddle up again because Bloods footy is back. It all starts this Thursday night, the most anticipated team selection yet. If you listen closely at 6:20 p.m., you'll hear the drums beating in the distance, and then over the hill, the arrival of a motley crew, 4 unique individuals, you might say. We've got Roberts Hood, we've got the Pirate, we've got the Energizer Bunny, and of course, on his horse, King Arthur. Or is it King Richard? King Jeff, maybe? Either way, the cavalry are coming. Amati, Roberts, Papley, and Gulden, massive inclusions, with the casualties being the unfortunate Corey, Hanley, Francis, and Adams. This is as close to a full-strength 23 as we've been all year. Could this week be the start of something? Maybe, but let's just focus on this week. Let's take it 1 week at a time, and not to add a third cliche, but just enjoy the ride. Up the potty, up the Swannies. Let's go, boys.
If that doesn't get you excited, nothing will,
That's
Deebs.
right. That's right. But the sentiment of just enjoying the ride, you have to.
Have to. Simply have to.
We would never enjoy footy again if we took our every emotion that we feel into how we watch every game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got to, it's a real Bill Belichick way of looking at it, right? I reckon he popularized it. Coaching the New England Patriots, just completely emotionless and just, it's on to Miami. It's on to Dallas.
Yeah.
It's on to Minnesota. You have to be.
Because with all due respect, and it makes, some of the stuff I've said when I'm talking about the grand final and last year, that's in the rear vision now. It actually doesn't matter in terms of performing this week. And I think that's what you're saying in terms of what he said.
The job's done there. It's on to the next one.
That's right.
And you don't, and we're not, Collingwood, they are going to be looking, and probably same with Geelong, they're going to be looking at, okay, what does our next 10 weeks look like? How do we sort of get the relevant rest into people, knowing that we're going to probably sell up a top 4 spot? Right?
Yeah.
We don't have the luxury to look at things that way. And do you know what? We probably looked at things too much that way last year. Yeah. And it was probably to our detriment. So the equation's simple. We just have to keep winning football games. And we can do that 1 week at a time, as Saundo said.
For sure. And
it's our job to enjoy it.
For sure. And what Millsy went with in his presser today.
Laughed off finals. And of course, that's the goal. That's the ultimate goal. Let's not get that confused. But it's a week-by-week proposition, as Millsy said.
100%. Got Jordan Brown on your Instagrams. He said, I'd love to see Paps, Errol, the Pirate, and Pistol back. Pistol needs redemption arc storyline against Port. He's had some shockers against them. You would need to bring out the likes of Hanley, Corey, Francis, and Doss. Also forgot Roberts, so maybe Bison Adams go out. As we know, Adams has done a hammer. So he will be making way as well. So
Corey Warner, this Luke Lawrence, Corey Warner, Hanley and Francis out, Roberts, Paps and Errol in. Riley Bice, the electrifying substitute. I wouldn't mind Bice as a sub.
Yeah, I could definitely. I thought that's what was going to happen last week.
Yeah. Devin Robertson for 800K sounds delightful though.
Is that the guy who said it?
No, I don't know.
He's just taking
very funny.
Taking the Mickey.
Yeah.
Talking of Mickey, we've got Mike Wizniak.
Thought you were going to say the great Mickey Saunders.
No. He says, in Papa, Errol the Pirate. The Pirate's catching on. This is good. I'm loving that. And Roberts with Hanley, Adams, Francis, and Corey Warner to make way. Bicey as sub. And John McGregor says, bang on Mike. So
Yep.
he's backing him in.
I like it. Do you reckon Ali Habak popularised the Papa?
Absolutely he did.
100%, right?
There's no two ways about that.
That's sensational. Now,
Should we hear from a guy who is building his name on this podcast?
Jake from Redfern.
That's right. He's had back-to-back really big creative speak pipes because we're a big speak pipe pod.
Big speak pipe pod.
Try to get that one out fast.
Speak pipe pod.
That's right.
Peter Piper picked a peckle.
That's right.
Deebs, it's hard when you are on a string of good speak pipes to keep that incremental uplift.
Yeah.
Leveling up each week is a difficult task. So I'm excited to see what he does this week.
Let's go. Here we go. Jakey from Redfern.
What leads to incremental uplift? Incremental manifestation. David Madison, Jake from Redfern here. I want to talk to a special small cohort of the faithful about Callum Mills. Freak workplace accident the one day you're supposed to be allowed a little slap and tickle, then another injury. He's your captain for Paul Kelly's sake. It's a long-term appointment. You want to get rid of your coach, CEO and captain in the same year? Grow up. We're not Carlton. You saw what he did against Richmond. He folded them like discount origami. He's the cucumber boy up back, the Rolls Royce, the red-headed floor general. Pictures next to the definition of the perfect son-in-law in the bloody first edition of the David Baxter English Dictionary. You back him in. Because if you don't, it's not just wussy boy stuff. It's wussy club stuff.
Oh,
Incremental manifestation. Shedding the rust.
go boys.
It's very good.
It's very good stuff.
You might have to sign him up as a creative nous of this podcast.
More of the same. That's fantastic
That's
work,
really
Jake.
good.
Really, really good stuff.
We might hear from Mitchy Charles.
Yeah, please.
Footy
fans.
On your footy fans.
Mads, Deebs, hope you're well. Looking forward to getting down to the riser and seeing your beautiful faces on Saturday along with the rest of the faithful. In regards to the Ask the Faithful question, the ins are obviously the great man Errol, Paps, Marty. And I think the outs will be Adams. He hasn't had a good crack at it, in my opinion, but yeah, he hasn't obviously made the most of his limited opportunities, and he seems to be on the outer. Hanley, Corey Warner, I think he's been pretty lucky to avoid the chop all year. It's just been through necessity that we needed some warm bodies that he has held his spot for so long. And then controversial to many, but I think Jake Lloyd, it's time to go. I've said it too many times before. We've got too many wussy boy halfback flankers and wingers types. And with Mills and Cunningham back there, we simply must drop a Lloyd or possibly Bicey. Although I don't mind either of them as a sub option potentially. But yeah, I just really think Lloyd doesn't offer as much as the other wingers and halfbacks. And yeah, we need to chop him. Thanks, lads. I'll see you Saturday.
Yes, Mitchy. Yeah, he's not Mitchy's been going strong with the Lloyd. He's the one to make way with these guys.
There's a section, a faction, if you will, Deebs, of the faithful hate Jake Lloyd.
I don't even know if it's a hate. It's just
hate him as a football player. They do.
Yeah.
They do. No, they're strong on him not being in the side.
Yeah. I don't know if they hate him.
We hate it.
We hate it. Absolutely. But I don't think it's a hate. We've just got, as he says, we've got a lot of these guys who played the same way and that hard edge. And is that Jake Lloyd's one wood? Absolutely not. But I don't think it's a lot of blokes one woods. But I don't think Lloyd's form is something that requires a dropping.
But I also think Lloyd's role, which none of us would know, sort of like probably, who can I compare it to? I would say he performs a similar role, go with me on this, from a leadership perspective, that Jared McVeigh used to do on the halfback.
Yeah.
I think he would direct traffic more than you actually think, and that's where a lot of the value comes from.
Well, we know one of the things that's held dearly in this footy side at the moment is versatility.
Yep.
And look, the same conversations were coming up at the, at finals time with, is Lloydie the right guy to be going with? And we just saw in such an important moment when we were storming back into that final, who went around the ball? Jake Lloyd. Who got forward and kicked a goal, running goal from 50? Jake Lloyd. It's for someone with such great consistency over the years, and he's nearly got to be averaging sort of high teens to low 20s, and we haven't been a high disposal team this year. So he's just not the one to make way
for yours. And hey, I can think of at least 5 crucial finals goals he's kicked recently.
That's right.
So I think there's still value in Jake Lloyd. I understand where
I understand the sentiment. I really do, but I just don't think he's the guy.
Sentiment, nice.
Yeah, that's a big word, Pod.
Hey, I've got one.
A comment.
Jimmy Francis on the Facebook.
Yes.
Who the fuck is the pirate?
That will be Joel.
Yeah. Do you know what? And there's a couple of people who are like, yeah, I don't know. And they're trying to figure it out. And then Mark Casiglia comes through with the Marty. And so I query how far you're listening into the pod that you haven't picked that up yet.
Picked it up on the pod, but
because that's there. But hey, as long as you get around it now, Jimmy, we're happy with that, mate.
Yeah, we'll take that, Jim. We might hear from Rommers to round out the speak pipes, and then I reckon we might hear a bit of a preview speak pipe in the next segment.
Yes.
So let's hear from Rommers.
Well, True Bloods, the rest of the comp better be scared because we're coming back in full strength and there is trouble brewing for every single side in the AFL that we play for the rest of this year. Bring on Port Adelaide. Bring on Errol, Papley, and Marty. The lot. They're all coming to the party this time. Yee-hoo!
Good on you, Robbers.
Talk about incremental uplift.
Yes.
You know, one of the faithful that I would be buying shares in.
Who's that?
Rommers.
Ethan Romerall from
Now,
Wyonga.
If you think about Rommers since when we met him to now, just the confidence uplift.
Would you compare him as in development wise, as you were talking about Errol Gulden coming into a man? Like,
absolutely. He's on Rommers as part of the faithful. He's on an Errol Gulden like trajectory currently.
Big trajectory, Pod.
Massive.
Huge.
But it's massive. We're a big noticing the little improvements pod, especially in personalities amongst the faithful. And I think it should be rewarded when people develop. So well done, Rommers.
Shout out to you, Rommers. Well done, buddy. Great to have you along as part of the faithful.
That's probably, and in Melbourne against Richmond. He loved that. That is probably enough from the social segment. We'll come back with the preview of our massive game against Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval. Go, boys.
Welcome back to True Bloods.
Joel
Marty.
Joel Marty.
Good to have him back this week, and it's a big clash against the Port Adelaide Power, who already dusted us one time this season at the SCG. That was
the Aaron Francis legacy game.
Came on, nearly stole the 4 points away from the Port Adelaide
highest
Footy Club.
rated player on the ground, wasn't he?
For us, I think he was. But yeah, it's a huge game, isn't it, Clarko?
Massive. It's huge.
They've got some
problems, but their list is strong.
It is. It's an underperforming list, isn't it?
It's an underperforming list.
Very similar to us on the ladder, aren't they?
Would you say their midfield is similar to our midfield?
high-end talent, you'd have to say so, right? Horn Francis, Butters, who else gets in there? Rosie's probably more off the half-back at the moment, isn't he?
So, correct. Fremantle smacked them in Perth. We beat Freo in Perth.
Yep.
Geelong smacked them at the Adelaide Oval. Adelaide beat them in a showdown by 5 points. They lost no fans there. The Dogs belted them by 90 points.
Yep.
They beat North. They beat us marginally, under 10 points for both.
Yep.
They beat Hawthorn by 5 goals. They've beaten who they should beat, you would think.
Yeah.
But gotten smacked by others, kind of like us, I suppose.
Exactly right.
So we're following a very similar sort of lineage of form. But as I said, they're top-end talent. Did you watch the Port Adelaide Melbourne game?
I did.
Man, Radaglia and Aaliyah just eat everything up.
Yeah.
Radaglia was eating everything, every ball that came in. And this is what the concerning part is. And maybe we should let our Port Adelaide correspondent go through it first and foremost. But we can't be bombing it in.
Yeah, well, he's had 13 grabs on the weekend, Radaglia. That's berserk.
Berserk.
And what did the great Aaliyah? He went off injured.
He had a few.
Yeah, had 3. But look, we might hear from the great
let's hear from Kurt.
Here we go. Big Port guy.
Madison and David, Kurt here, your Port Adelaide correspondent for the week, long-time Port Adelaide fan. Please don't forget when we're watching this week that although we are foe, that we are traditionally friend as an interstate side. So best of luck to you guys, but of course I hope my team wins. Where I think the game can be won and lost, boys, pace on the ball for Sydney. Don't let Port set up behind the ball. You've got to run through them. You've got to handball through them. Don't try to kick your way down the ground. No long kicks down the line. None of that rubbish. It's got to be run. It's got to be carry. It's got to make the guys who you worry about, your Rosies, your Butters, your Jason Horn-Francis, and then your lower tier, your Jackson Meads, those sorts of players, make them defend. That is the most important thing. That is the thing that will make you win the game. Sydney Swans supporters, you must make these guys defend. You don't make them defend, and they will have the ball in their hands quicker than you could know, and Willie Rioli be snapping a ball over someone's head, some defender that I don't know because I don't know anyone on your team. However, on the other side, Kane Farrell and Ryan Burton, love them both to death. They are not great one-on-one defenders. You get those guys in one-on-ones marking contests or ball on the ground, and you do have the opportunity to expose that part of the back line. But all that being said, boys, I hope it's going to be a cracking game. Really interested to see where you guys think you'll win or lose this one. And it's a go the Power for me, but I love you all. Bye.
Now, the speak pipe evidently only does 1:30, which he was disappointed about. But I can't agree any more with what he said, especially watching Port Adelaide over this year. You do need to just run and carry and wait for opportunities to present themselves, because Radaglia just... And usually Aaliyah does, but he did get injured on the weekend. But that's like it's the same as kicking to Stephen May and bloody Jake Lever.
Yeah.
They just mark it all day. So this is where the Papley being back and Amadi being back, we've got competent forwards that can keep them accountable. And is there a job out there for Will Haywood?
You don't get beaten by what you know, Clarko.
You just can't, okay? You can't get beaten by what you know.
Yeah, if we're putting it on Radaglia's head,
Willie A's what we know.
Willie A's what we know. We'll be walking out of the riser and having multiple beverages to cool my emotions.
Yes.
Because I will lose it.
Which will only serve to heighten your emotions. But either way, that is...
Ernie might kick me out upstairs.
He might. Hey, you settle down there, David. He doesn't know your name, so that was inaccurate. Yeah. And this is the thing. We know what we need to do to be able to beat them. And this is where having an Errol Gulden back, where his inside 50s are so much more polished. This is where him being back in the side directly impacts the way we play games, because if it's coming in off Errol Gulden's boot, chances are it's not going to get eaten up by Esava Radaglia.
For sure. And even sort of Papa, The Pappers being the one putting it inside 50. I rate him as a kick.
For sure.
And then it's like the waxing of, the Paps and Heaney and these guys who have played 150 games together. They just know without pointing where they want the ball. And it's a feel thing. It's Marbo, it's the vibe.
It's Marbo, it's the vibe. What's your forward six look like?
Oh, I'd have to get the sheet out.
Okay, in no particular order, you got Papley.
Correct.
You got Amadi.
Ding.
You got
Pirate.
Francis.
Maybe.
Around there.
Yeah, maybe.
McLean. Is he out?
Possibly.
Is he out?
Possibly.
I think he's probably out.
Yeah, possibly.
For mine.
For yours.
If Amadi's in, you're too tall otherwise.
Yes.
You're just too tall.
Yeah, but as has been brought up in discussions, we have gone 3 talls for the bulk of last year and a lot of this year when Eshe was back in this side, etc. But I'm not against the 2 talls either. I like that.
Yeah, I think the 2 talls for this particular matchup.
Yeah, especially if Lear's out.
Yeah, correct, because you can. You just don't want to be trying to face them in the air, even just to Saba.
Yeah, and then Haywood.
Yep.
Who haven't we mentioned? Heaney.
Yep.
I can see him spending more time forward.
For sure.
Yeah. That's how it's very hard to know how we structure up, but I would like to see that sort of 2 forward mantra.
Do you give JJ a job on the rampaging Zach Butters?
Have to. No, Rosie. I'm going Rosie off half back.
If this is true, he's polled 29 out of 30 possible coaches' votes.
Against us. Last 3 times.
It says the past 3 weeks. I don't see
Possibly.
how that could be the case. But either way.
Rosie, man.
You're saying Rosie rather than Butters?
Rosie.
Mate, Butters has been going berserk.
I just think what we saw with JJ being able to hit the scoreboard and
make Rosie accountable.
And what Rosie did to us last time, that was the first game he went back. It's got to be Rosie back row in head to head with Butters.
Yeah.
That's how I think I'm going.
Yeah.
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 I just, especially going off last time.
Like Kurt said, you got to try and make them accountable and make them defend.
Correct.
Jason Horne-Francis hates defending. Yeah, he runs downhill.
Spent a lot of time forward last week.
Yes.
He's a very effective forward.
Mate, he's one of the best players in the comp.
You know who would be licking his lips at a Jason Horne-Francis? Rams.
Correct.
All day, baby. Rams will put him in his pocket and say, Jason, I know Kane Corns likes you, but guess what? I'm on you all day. I'm going to put you in my pocket. I'm going to give you a squeegee bath, and you are going to come off squeaky clean, Jason. All right? Should we hear from Kurt? The second part.
Let's hear from Kurt what he thinks about the Swannies.
Second note here, boys. I just thought I'd also probably drop a few thoughts about what I'm worried about as a Port Adelaide fan, and that's a couple of things. Nick Blakey running through the middle of the ground, thinking more about when he's going to take his next bounce rather than if he's going to get tackled. That worries me. I worry that there'll be a shot of Jason Horne-Francis jogging in the background with Nick Blakey running through the middle of the ground. I'm worried about that, okay? And then Errol Gulden coming back. I'm not happy about it, okay? You could have just held out for one more week for me, all right? So we can be friendly about this together. We just go in with who we've been playing. It's not happened that way. It's disappointing. But I do wish him all the best, and I am worried. I worry about that. And I mean, I don't want to really see Haynes there either on my TV. I mean, every time he kicks, the smile and the hair and the skin. I don't want to see any of that. It's not important. People don't need to be that good looking on the football field. It's not a necessity. You don't have to look like anything to be a football player. So the fact that he looks like that, and it's going to be on my home ground against my team, and he's probably going to kick 3 and have 30, I'm not happy about it. But they're just my insecurities, and they're the things I'll be worried about when they're doing the pre-game preview on Fox on Saturday. So best of luck, but don't do too well, but have fun.
Oh, Curtly, you have outdone yourself, son.
Very well done.
Hats off to you, brother.
Yeah, well
really
done, Curly. Very good effort, mate. Knew you'd pull through. He also works at the Undisclosed Big Football.
The Undisclosed.
Now, he does make a good point in the Adelaide Oval is tailor-made for a little bit of lizard action.
Yeah.
Just scampering across. Yep.
Yeah. Liz, mate, we saw
Liz.
Coming off 10 coaches' votes. You
Yes.
talk coaches' votes. Liz had 10 of them a couple of weeks ago against the Tigers, so that would be nice to see again. Now, we love parties here at True Bloods.
Yes.
Parties on heels.
Yes.
Especially when you're bringing cases of doozy. Jump onto all your good alcohol providers, whether that's a BWS,
Dan Murphy's.
Dan Murphy's,
Yes.
exactly right. Few independents. Jump on the doozy website, see if there's an independent out there for you to buy some doozies.
Could be.
But you know who I'm inviting?
Who's that, Deebles?
It's the great Tommy McCartan.
Yeah, right.
Mitch Georgiadis went berserk
Went
last
absolutely
week.
berserk. Kicked a rare bag.
What did he have?
7?
He's had
7-4?
7-4
Yeah.
he's kicked Clarko.
That's berserk. He's had 11 scoring shots.
And I reckon he put a couple out on the full as well.
That's absolutely berserk.
So, Tommy, there's a role out there for you, brother, and I'm backing you in. So, Tommy's my invite to the party.
that's
for
good.
yours.
I really like that. For mine, I want to see JJ. Oh, you've sold me. I've been thinking about it.
Yeah.
You've sold me on the Connor Rozee of
Have
it all
to.
because he probably got 3 votes. Well, Mitch Georgiades got 3 votes, but he definitely got 2 votes for mine against Melbourne.
For sure.
He was quite sensational, and the way he sets up off halfback. Yeah, if JJ can do a job there, we go a long way to winning this football game.
Yeah,
But I'd love to see the Papa kick 3.
Yeah.
And
nice
really
to-
get the tongue out.
Yes.
Really get the tongue out,
Yeah.
running from the pocket on the boundary. You can see him. He goes to take a mark, spills the mark, but there's a late whistle.
Yeah.
There's a late whistle. He's been pushed.
For sure.
And maybe he's sold the umpire into it a little bit. And he's just gone, beautiful. Give it to me. On his right, snap, goal, just tongue out.
Yeah.
That's just it's what I want. It's what we deserve.
You've channeled your inner Jakey from Redfern. That's incremental manifestation.
Yeah, it has to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm talking, just to be really clear about this, whistle late,
Yeah.
Port supporters going ballistic and sort of perhaps moving his way through the TV crew and the security saying, mate, piss off. I need to kick a snag here.
Got
And
it.
just going around the corner. Nah.
Got it.
Has to be think on that.
For sure.
Dream about it.
Yeah. Manifest on it.
Manifest on it.
Swannies by how far, Clarko?
15 points.
24 points
Love
for
it.
mine.
Love it. For yours.
All right, into the tipping. We're going to run through these really quickly, Clarko. I'll give you the top 5 because if you're not in the top 5, you are not getting mentioned. No, top 6 because we love Greg on the Goldie.
We love
He's
Greg
in
on the
6th,
Goldie.
Paddy the Batty in 5th. Joshy Maxwell heading over to Italy, I think he is.
Yes.
He's in 4th. Hopsy, some real regulars of the pod
Wow.
here in 3rd. We got Schmitty in 2nd. They're all on 88. And Isabel Lowe stands atop by herself, too clear on 90.
Another friend of the pod.
Yes, so many friends of the pod just doing really well in the tipping, and we love to see it.
We do. We absolutely love to see
Thursday
it.
night footy, Clarko. We've got Freo versus Essendon.
That's Freo.
Correct.
Don't care where it is.
Friday night, Geelong versus the Lions.
No.
GMHBA.
Geelong.
Geelong. Carlton v North, Saturday.
Galton.
Schwannies get it done.
Oh, North.
Saturday night, we've got Collingwood and St Kilda.
That'll be a fucking bloodbath.
Bloodbath. Pies. Sunday, we've got GWS and the Gold Coast.
The Gold Coast. Sam Taylor out. Gold Coast.
Don't mind the Gold Coast. I'll go with you, Clarko.
Mm-hmm.
And to round out the Grenache hour,
Franco Cozza team.
Futa Sagrai, Franco Cotto team, and Richmond Tigers and
Yes.
Marvel.
Thank you to all the sponsors, all the faithful, all the social contributors, Curtly Brandt. Fantastic work from everyone. Sensational. Thank you, Alessi. Thank you, everyone, for staying on board. It's only going to get better from here, faithful.
For sure. And just a last shout out, get down to the Rising Sun. If you're in Melbourne, we'll be down there. We've got a table. Book yourself a table. Let's get together and get the dub this weekend and celebrate with some winner's piss because we love it, don't we, faithful? But this has been True Bloods, the number one independent Sydney Swans fan podcast. We're number one in your hearts and we're number one on the charts. We're speaking words of wisdom. Up the potty.